Hello, my name is Steve Kern, and this is a video about me creating a Dungeons & Dragons adventure campaign/adventure. I'm using what I call the 1980 rules, Dungeons & Dragons rules. Red Book rules. This is not a 1980s printout. This is a 1981 printout. I went to Kenosha, Wisconsin in 1980. I missed Gen Con by 1 to 3 days, and my grandma took me and my brother to Lake Geneva, where they had the Gen Con. Just talked about the Renaissance Festival people and stuff. And when we got to Lake Geneva, it was all shut down. So we went to a comic book gaming store, and Grandma bought me and my brother the Red Book rules, which was that. And when you open it up, it said here 1980. So the Red Book rules used at Gen Con this is the only difference that I've seen between this and the other the 1981 printings and the thing. So what I've done, so this I only have the basic expert and then got this in 1980. Came back to Texas in was there in the summer, was in Wisconsin for the summer of 1980. Came back. I was in 7th grade. I graduated 7th grade. My brother was held back in 7th grade. So I'm actually 13 months older than my brother. But yeah, when we came back from Wisconsin, Mom promised my brother and I that she would game master us. So she took our 1980 edition and cut out the DM section of the rule book. So she cut all of this out. She cut this section out. I don't know, she cut. So this reprint has been laminated. So after in 1982, Mom had it. When 1982, my brother and I got tired of waiting for Mom game mastering us, so we asked for the rules back. So we got and to put the rules back together, we used a braided from a braided folder, some braid, and we put it together like that. So my 1980 edition has pages that are cut out right here with scissors, and then braids on to keep everything together. During the 84-86 time period, I created a Hebrew Elfin class, and so I used notebook paper and put that in there too. So that's in there. Then in 1983, my brother and I started RPGing with each other on this. And in 1983, some of his friends introduced us to Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Between 82 and 83, before this came out, I had purchased this. And then this came out, and so I purchased the entire set to have the complete rule set. I don't play with this that much. I have read it. I did go through the basic rules. I've read all the rules to some degree. But basically what I'm doing here is a prelude to what I would do over here and what was going to be done with AD&D. Between 83 and 86, when I was doing Dungeons and Dragons group play AD&D, I was solo playing with this set. And this was as a side note. I compared notes between that and this. So let's see here. Recently, I made some videos about campaigns. So what I did with this is I made a list. I did back in 84 and 85. I created a Cornrow campaign for the D&D game, and I created an Advanced Ancient Earth campaign for AD&D. For this game, I made some DM notes. I went through these two books and listed all the monsters by hit dice level. And then I listed all the monsters by alignment, and I made a monster list of animal type, life form types. That list did not get completed, but hey Tazzy. Yeah, she's hungry. Yeah, you're the princess, aren't you? Yeah. Of the sisterhood, she's the first one that took to me, so she's the princess. She's like my shadow. So. Zoda's my queen. My queen is dead. And so Tazy is the princess because Zoda, but also she's part of a sisterhood. I'm Papa Cat to the sisterhood. Sandy over there is Boss Girl, and Turtle is the huntress. Zoda. We put these cats to shame. Okay, so what I did, so I'm starting a new adventure campaign. I don't have a character design. I don't have a storyline concept. I don't have a game world design concept. I'm not doing modules. I don't like modules anyways, storylines. So I'm scratch designing my own campaign, scratch designing my own adventures. So what I did was I went through here and I basically redid the process of, sorry princess. Yeah, this is her table, and so she's kind of wanting to her spot. So she's trying to claim her spot here. Okay. So what I did was I went through basic and expert, and I created hit dice tables. So I went by hit dice under 1 for basic rules, hit dice under 1 for expert rules, hit dice 1 for basic rules, hit dice 1 for expert rules, hit dice for 1+ for basic rules, hit dice for 1+ for expert rules. And this is basically for level 1 characters, for scratch design, for a new character and a new campaign. This charts I would be using, these charts for that, and that's why I created these charts. So then I decided, okay, I went down going down the list. Okay, what are the environments for the normal bat? What are the environments? So I look at the -1 monster list, and I decided I'm going to go try to see what's common for these what monsters are associated with, what environments, and what other monsters are associated with each of these. So what I did, so I started out with after making these hit dice charts, I went and looked at the normal bat. I went in here, looked at the normal bat. Okay, let's do this. And I went through the data. Okay, normal bat is nocturnal. And they live in caves and abandoned buildings. Then it talks about the sonar. Normal bats will not attack men. I may reclassify that as humanoids. But may confuse them by flying about their heads. There must be at least 10 bats to confuse one character. Then giant bats. So nocturnal, okay, so normal bats and then giant bats would have the same thing. So what did I do here? I'm one-handed. So I decided so I went to make a list on nocturnal monsters, and I put giant bats and normal bats together because they're environmentals. They have the same environments. The giant bats are mentioned here. So you go here, they are carnivorous. May attack a party if extreme hungry. Vampire. Then it mentions vampire bats. And so they said they mention undead. Person dies from a vampire bite. Becomes an undead. Expert rules: these undead may be vampires. I'm assuming that they're saying that the undead characters are vampires. They're not saying that the giant bats are vampires, although I can interpret that. The giant bats may or may not be vampires. Okay, so there's leeway there, as well as there's leeway on men, maybe elves and goblins and stuff like that. They would fly about their heads too. Humanoids or demi-humans. So I started out with nocturnal. I didn't say. So I went through both books to figure out who are the nocturnal monsters. Yeah, I need to. Okay, so I made a list of nocturnal monsters, and I went through the book, each of these books, just line by line. Who's nocturnal? Where's the nocturnal? And if it's a nocturnal, I put it down. So white apes, and then I listed the book, which book it is in. It didn't matter what that hit dice was. I'm just going through the list. These are associated with the normal bats being nocturnal, and then giant bats got associated with that because. So and then these are the things. So I listed the monsters. So once I did that, I went and made a list of monsters. So I went using this list. I made notes on the information of basically environments and monsters. So white apes live in caves. They're nocturnal. They look for fruit and vegetables at night. Threatened creatures approaching lair. This is kind of sort of important, so I put it in there, I think. Aren't intelligent, kept as pets by Neanderthals. And then, and I did that for it. And then here's the nocturnal form bats, live in caves, abandoned buildings. And they don't tag men, but I used men in this one. They must check morale every round unless summoned or controlled. So that they can be controlled or summoned, so that put it in there. So there are magic spells where you can charm or whatever. There are magic items that can gain control of creatures. So this is important. So I made this list, and there is page 2 and page 3 and page 4. So after making that list, I went through this list to make an additional monster list, which is a copy of, which is a variation of the nocturnal monster list. The main difference here is this is the primary monsters that are going to be used against my first level characters that I'm going to design. And these are associated monsters based on this list here. So within this list, you got wait a minute. I don't know how to get orcs in here. I got sidetracked. Oh, okay. So wait a minute. So within this list, how did the orcs get on here? Oh, they're nocturnal. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay. They're nocturnal. Orcs are nocturnal. So, okay. So I went on here to the orcs. And so these are, so I went through this list here and made an additional monster list. And so you got controllers, that's the bats, and then same thing with summoners. But there are other monsters that can be controlled. Giant rats can be controlled or summoned. And so I decided to put this in here. Then because of the giant bats, vampire bats, they can have undead. Giant rats also have undead. So so because I'm using both expert and together to create the campaign world, the vampire suggestion is listed. Okay, Sandy wants to take up the table. That's how the red book got cover got damaged the other day. So the leaders, this is basically for the orc, but this also applies to rats and stuff. They're summoned and listed in the books. And then they also said chaotic leader in the orcs can be used for as armies by chaotic leaders. And so then I decided, okay, I'm going to make a list of Orc Army chaotic leaders. And what I did was I made notes on the orc tribe. Okay, so what orcs are level 1, but on Orc tribe you got a group leader. Each group, whenever you count a group of orcs, one is going to have 8 hit points and does 1 plus damage. Regardless of the group, there's at least one's going to have 8. And then for a tribe, you have a chieftain. So I made the notes on what he's basically a HD4 monster with plus 2 damage. And so I said, okay, so you need 2 levels of orc leaders. You want a level for just a group, so they need to be basically 2 hit dice or higher, or maybe 1 plus 1 or higher. That's where the hobgoblins come in. So I said 2 or plus higher, and then HD, and because the tribe is 4, I want him to be 5 plus, the chaotic leader for the orc tribe. If the chieftain is going to follow a chaotic leader, the chaotic leader needs to be level 5 or higher. So I went through the D&D, and I went through this. I can do that again now. And looking for HDs. So I came up with Noble, NPC Party, Ogre, Shadow, and Veteran. And then I came down, and then I came up with on the X, on that, the only thing that I found was NPC Party. I misspelled that, but I put it down here. Then I was looking at this list, and I realized that's a very small list. That's a very small list. Orcs tends to follow other would-be armies of chaotic. You have a lot of chaotic monsters, bugbears, hobgoblins, ogres, and trolls and stuff. They might actually be part of. They're mercenaries, basically. So I went back to the basic rules. So I made the list. Orc tribe leaders. For this is 5 plus. So NPC 5, just put it down here to make room. I don't know how large the list was, and so I came up with bugbear and hobgoblins. That's in the basic rules. In the expert rules, everybody was above 5. Oops. Oh, Brigand Man needs to go up here. Okay, that's in this. And the Brigand, yeah. Well, actually, yeah, Brigand Men would actually be, as you got a small group of orcs, and then you got a tribe of orcs following the leaders, because the leaders, the Brigand Men leaders, expert rules. Men. Okay. Brigands. We have a 9th level fighter, 5th level fighters, magic users 9th to 11th level, So they have clerics 8th level. So they have the brigands have leaders that are higher than 5. They're 5+ leaders. So you would have orc tribe. You can have an orc tribe actually following a brigand. A brigand can hire an orc tribe because brigands are chaotic. So I'm going to have to list that. Make that change. Life. And since this is in order, X. And then you have orc tribe leaders. And so I'm going to have to modify this list. So that's this video. That's what this video is about, is me modifying the Orc Army leaders for chaotic leaders. Chaotic leaders of Orc armies. So that's what this data is. The other, I'm going to be making the undead list. I'm going, and then there are I'm not going to do a summoning list or the there might. So this is basically, I'm done with this. This is a reference material to give me ideas of what's going on with the game world. So I want to organize this better. So that's what this is about. I'm still working on the setting up who's who, how monsters are related, and so then I can have, okay, these monsters are in this area, the player characters are from this area, and these are, this is what the area is like as far as monsters and stuff. And my Orc Army leadership tables I'm revising it from what I've originally done.